planted.
That's probably the first and last time you'll ever hear a Call of Duty sound that pristine. The sounds, the way the boom sounds, the treble, the bass, everything was pretty much perfect. Infinity Ward definitely got it right with how the sounds are, just how the graphics were. I just felt as if they really nailed it with this game. It was really unfortunate to see that they couldn't support it due to just, I guess, court reasons, as far as just some of the stuff I kind of listened to, rumors or whatever have you. I don't really know exactly the full story, but I guess long story short, I guess they just had a bunch of problems with why they couldn't support their game, and that's unfortunate because this is a really good game. It had a lot of potential, much like I guess a lot of the other Call of Duties, but it just seems as if this game, out of all the Call of Duties, all of them combined, just had the best sound system. It had the best, well, pretty much everything. And what happened was, I guess just for court reasons, I guess, it got messed up. I don't know exactly how to explain it. It's pretty difficult to explain. I don't really try to focus on stuff like that just because it doesn't really involve me, so I don't really care too much. But without further ado, guys, this is another Throwback Tuesday gameplay. Obviously, this Call of Duty isn't that old, but it's still a throwback Call of Duty, so I decided to put it in there. Some of you probably liked this game. Some of you probably didn't like this game as much as others, of course, but I, for one, really like this game. I wish I'd put more hours into it because I don't really know why, but I didn't really play this game that much. I think I was still on the Call of Duty 4 phase where I just couldn't stop playing Call of Duty 4, and for that, I guess I didn't really play this game as much. I don't know why. Feel free to leave your comments down below on what you thought about this game, I guess, when it came out, and some of the other things about your opinions on just some of the things I'll probably cover in this gameplay commentary if you guys want to. Of course, the gameplay in the background, it was a long 15-minute gameplay. I tried to do my best to cut it up as much as possible. Of course, with Modern Warfare 2, as most of you guys know, that there's pretty much always action all the time, so I tried to leave a lot of the good parts in. I cut out a lot of the really boring parts where there wasn't just really anything at all going on, but I try to leave a lot of it in. So it's going to be a longer commentary, about a little over 9 minutes long, as you can obviously tell by the video. But I hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless, and hopefully you stick around to the end. So anyways, I guess we'll go ahead and get into just some of the things I really liked about this game, and I'll try and keep it as positive as possible, and just I'm going to try and stay away from all the negatives and just kind of keep it as positive as I can, because it's fun to kind of remember the good times of what a game used to be like, I guess, back in its heyday per se. So anyway, one of the things I really liked about Modern Warfare 2 is their hit detection was pretty much spot on. I mean, when you shot someone, you didn't have to aim in front of them or anything. You had to pretty much, as long as your iron sights or whatever sight you were aiming at them with was on their character model, you're most likely going to get a hit marker, or just enough to even kill the person. It seemed like wherever you aimed, the bullets always hit them. And even now, the game's like almost 4 years old now, and it's nearing 4 years old, and the game still runs really well in my opinion. Of course, you still have those weird hosts that you get, some hosts from like out of country or away from where you actually live and stuff like that. You're going to have that happen. I think the main reason is because a lot of people don't really play this game as much anymore. It's pretty much dead, unfortunately. You can't really find that many good matches. Occasionally you will. I haven't really tried any ground war. I heard ground war is pretty bad still. Not really much 6v6, but I did play some team tactical with one of my friends, so we had a good time on that. It was a pretty good time played. Obviously, this is Demolition. One of my more favorite game modes that I used to play back then in Modern Warfare 2. I don't know why. I just liked it and Capture the Flag for some reason. I think they've changed Capture the Flag a lot, obviously, within the previous Call of Duty titles, and I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. For some reason, I just lost interest in Capture the Flag, but in Modern Warfare 2 it was a lot of fun because Marathon Pro obviously allowed you to hurdle over obstacles, and it also allowed you to have a limited sprint, which kept the pace of the game up. It kept this game always, it seemed like everything was always going on. This game was really frantic and chaotic, and that was one of the things I really liked about it. It was basically a rushing Call of Duty. It really catered to rushers a lot of the times. It did also cater to the people that like to sit back like snipers and people that used LMGs. You just had to know how to use the gun properly, and you could usually do pretty well. Of course, there was some unbalanced factors about the game. You guys pretty much know what they are. There were some weapons that were unbalanced and overpowered, of course, and then there were some weapons that just were pretty useless that, compared to the other weapons in its class, people would rather not use them and use something more efficient, that would actually benefit them better. So, of course, you're going to have that with every Call of Duty. You're going to have some weapons that aren't easy to use, you're going to have some that are too easy to use, and you're going to have the ones that are in between that I like using. more borderline the people that I don't know. I'm just one of the people that, like I said, likes to occasionally challenge myself and use weapons that you don't see people use that much. It's just fun to kind of experiment and use every weapon in the game and kind of see which ones you really like. Who knows? Try a weapon that you haven't tried in a while, and maybe you can end up liking it again if you hated it before. So, that's happened a lot with me with Call of Duty. I've noticed that, like, with a lot of weapons that I may used to hate before, I kind of like now, or vice versa. The weapons I used to like using now, I don't really use them as much, or I just completely dislike them in every way. I think a lot of the patches have a lot to do with that, to be honest with you guys, because they do patch these games quite a bit. Some of them are significant changes to the weapon characteristics, and some of them not so much. So some of them don't really seem like they change the weapon that much, while others completely make the weapon either useless or more powerful than it probably should have been. I will go ahead and mention a good example, the Syrup Pro perk. It actually got a buff, and of course, as you guys know, it was too powerful, at least in my opinion, because there's nothing that could counter it, and there was no way you could really even move around on the map now. It basically catered way too much to people that sat in one place, and I honestly think it was a mistake. I think they moved the decibel factor up way too high, because literally you can walk around and not even sprint, and you can be heard. As long as you crouch, so you won't be heard, but a lot of people don't like to crouch around the map, and it's nearly impossible to have any enjoyment in the game whatsoever if you have to crouch around the whole time. That's one thing for me that really hurt Modern Warfare 3's chance of actually being very fun to play. But before they did patch Syrup Pro, it was a pretty enjoyable game for me. A lot of people, like I said, disliked it, but I was one of those people that, I don't know, it fit my style pretty good. Something about it, I just liked using the shotguns in, besides the striker, and you suck at shooting 12. I mean the Usis, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to say that, guys. But yeah, that shotgun, ever since its post-patch, I'm sorry, but it's pretty overpowered. It's pretty easy to use. It's always like a one-hit kill, and the range on it's like 30 meters, so it's pretty cheap. I mean, it seems like it gets more consistent one-hit kills than the pump-action shotguns, which kind of doesn't make any sense because it's a semi-auto to an extent. But anyways, this isn't about Modern Warfare 3. I just kind of want to do some honorable mentions about some of the things that got patched that they really shouldn't have got patched or buffed or whatever you want to call it. Buffed, nerf, patched, whatever. Pointless. The point is, there's just some stuff they need to leave alone. Some stuff just needs to be left alone because, you can see that there's always good things and bad things. There's always pros and cons. There's always consequences. With every action, there's always a reaction to it, obviously, and that's very true. And, with Modern Warfare 2, I would say if they patch just a few things, and a lot of people have been talking about, I've noticed a lot of people actually have been talking about in commentaries how many patches away from perfection. I've seen a lot of people do that, like Lil Patriot, and I think 402 Thunder actually did some commentaries talking about that. A lot of people have, and I kind of wanted to give my 2 cents on it. And, they pretty much are right. I mean, if they just patched a few things in some of these games, yeah, they would be really enjoyable. Not that they weren't enjoyable, but I just think the enjoyable factor of them would be much greater if they just had fixed a few things that were really irritating that they just seem to never get around to doing. I just think this game was probably one of the best, before all the exploits broke out and stuff. It just seemed like this game was really fun. It seemed like there was, the skill gap on it was okay, I guess. It wasn't the best, and a lot of people are going to find it kind of funny, the fact that I said something about a skill gap in Modern Warfare 2, but nonetheless, if you were a good player, you usually dominated as long, as you didn't verse those people that use the exploits. It was all around a fun game. I mean, if you knew how to aim, you could get rewarded for it. Obviously, my aim is not the best with this Famas, but this was actually a game that I came back to about like 4 months ago. Actually, probably not 4, but it was about 2 or 3 months ago. It was a fun time, though. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time back on Modern Warfare 2, and this gameplay is pretty much about to wrap up, guys, but feel free to leave your comments down below in the comment section, of course, what your opinions are about this Call of Duty in particular, and how you feel about the patches and how they either make or break the game. Anyways, guys, you have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next one.
Appreciated.